Hello, Tezinator, and welcome to your deck review. For those of you joining us for the first time on YouTube, this is a series where I will look at your deck's PP, your PP being your premise and your practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck. This appears to be a bracket 3 Venom deck, and the practicum is the stuff you put in the 99, whether or not it helps you achieve your idea. So we're going to spend a few minutes talking about what is the dream behind this deck. Is it achievable in bracket 3? Almost certainly. We're in Jund. They get to do whatever the fuck they want. And then we're going to go into the 99. Is the 99 helping them achieve that idea? Is it hurting them? Are there better options? Should they give up entirely? Da 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 da. So the primer submitted to this deck is their current pet deck. They've been tweaking it for 6 months, but we're having a variance issue. Some games where the threat we're being targeted nonstop. Some games you are just land dropping until you lose on someone else's turn. Others, I don't even hit enough lands and I never play my flipped commander. I want to make it more consistent, but I feel like everything in the deck has a purpose. So I want to stop us here because this is one of the most common problems people run into is it's very easy to build a deck where everything does have a purpose. There are so many different purposes and synergies you can work towards in Magic that it's really easy to fill up your 99 or really your 60 non-land slots with stuff that helps you do something. The trick is we have to figure out what is the most important thing. Are we committing enough cards to that? And then the trick after that is recognizing, when do I have enough important things? For me, I'm always trying to build my decks to have one thing they care about doing. And my decks always make me happy and they always do that one thing. I know some people like higher variance. You can definitely get to two things your deck wants to do. You can stretch for three, but I think once we get past that second or third thing, it becomes really difficult. And so my first, yeah, hey, but that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, show me a bunch of tags with 1 to 2 things per tag. Who knows what could be going wrong here? Let me read the flipped commander. He's probably pretty important. So when he attacks, you can sacrifice something. If you do draw X cards, then you can cheat out something that costs that much or cost less. So we need mana, or we need a way to cheat multiple creatures. Like, we need a way to get a big creature into play because we need to sacrifice that big creature to draw our cards and to cheat out our next big thing. And then we have other. Oh, warp is really clever here. That's a bad card. That is a thematic and bad card. This is a dork. So there's definitely going to be a little overlap because we're in Jund. My first thought would be you should commit to, am I cheating things out or am I making a shitload of mana? Because Jund can do both of those things really well. And I can see different versions of this deck that are utilizing. I'm just going to put them up on screen to represent this and not name all like 20 cards that would go in the ramp package. But if you wanted to make casting your commander more consistent and being a threat more consistent, I could definitely see you building a pretty aggressive ramp package and then just go, I drop a threat, Venom eats him, that draws me 7 cards, and I'm not always getting the craziest new threat off that next thing, but I'm always getting something valuable, right? Like, Venom is basically Rishkar's expertise in the command zone, except you also have to sacrifice something. And so, sorry, Veggie's premiering their new video, so I'm helping out. And so like Gwenum, she's helping us cheat. We can sacrifice her, but I don't think she contributes to either of the really important things. And the really important things are getting us mana to cast Venom, or getting us like a really expensive creature. Because the other problem Gwenum has is like we really want to keep her. This is an awesome card. Death touching, life linking 4/4 that lets us cheat other stuff out. And once we get to the, and you're gonna be like, yeah, I know that's the problem. And that's one of the things where I would, if I was building this deck, I would likely cut Gwenum, not on the basis of she is a bad card, but on the basis of she is too good of a card for me to feed her into the wood chipper, and my strategy is by necessity a wood chipper. And I would feel kind of the same way about Emeritus of Woe, Now you talked about I don't really run a lot of board wipes because you said you have Grave Pact and you have another thing that makes everybody hate you, right? We have Dictate of Erebos as well. So we can keep creatures off our opponent's boards, which means you likely have a pretty high deal of confidence that if you stick Emeritus of Woe and then you do a Venom sack, that's going to make everybody else sack a creature, which will then prepare Emeritus of Woe. This is another place we are committing early mana, where we could be committing mana to ramping to Venom. We could be committing mana to a more expensive creature that we want to sacrifice to Venom. And we're not, because we're trying to do this other setup thing to make our ceiling higher. And so pretty much everything I recommend to you here is probably going to be stuff that makes the ceiling lower but brings the floor up. Because if the floor is, oh, well, we land drop into Emeritus of Woe, and then I'm going to have to demonic tutor for a land if it gets around to my turn, but I probably don't even get around to my turn because they kill it because it's demonic tutor on a creature. Um, let's look at what else is on the weaker side. This guy, for sure. This guy's great. This is one of your best. Um, I don't really love anger, but we at least we have a definite way to get him into the graveyard. And are we doing mass reanimation? I guess that's the question. No. So I really don't like anger in the context of how you have built your reanimation section, because I could see a way to, okay, well, the goal of this deck is I'm going to keep sacrificing all my big boys. I'm going to draw so many cards that I'm discarding the hand size. And once I have 5 or more creatures in my graveyard, I'm going to hit you with a Rise of the Dark Realms. I'm going to hit you with a Behold the Sinister Six. That would make sense to me. But if we're doing a lot of one-off reanimation, the haste enabling, again, doesn't come off as bad. It's good to have the reanimation target have haste, but it's just another piece of the machine that could fail. It's another piece of the machine that we could draw when we really needed ramp, when we really needed the Grave Pact, when we really needed the big body that we were going to sacrifice. And I think that problem is a little bit continued here, where our ramp section is yeah, we have again refused to choose between a responsible buildup of resources and fuck this shit, I'm just gonna cheat. Because we have Sneak Attack, Monster Manual, and Elvish Piper and Dark Ritual in the kind of fuck y'all, I'm just gonna cheat. I'm gonna hope that I grab my bag and it's big enough that I can beat you over the head with it and you just explode. And there are, and the, oh, this would have been a great one to try out having people on live call, because I'm sure, or the most common defense for these cards is no man, you weren't there in this one game where it did save the game. And I'm sure that game did happen. That connects back to what I'm talking about. If you can always build a deck where all 99 cards have a purpose, all 99 cards have a positive use case, but what's creating your variance issue is not all of those purposes are as connected or as coherent as you think they are. So, first step, pick whether you want to cheat mana or whether you want to make mana. I think you want to make mana because we have to get to 6 mana to cast our commander. It's very possible they try to hate him out and we have to get to 8 mana to cast him again. It's likely we're going to need to make a lot of mana. And we also have a little bit of built-in protection, because the most common problem, if you go for a really aggressive ramp package early, is they go, oh, well, what if they shoot my dork? And if they shoot your dork and you get to 3 lands, we've reanimated the dork! It's actually really good. And so if you're going to make mana and not cheat mana, that would actually lead me to run less of the things like Jouifite. I would run less of the things. I would maybe keep Twilight Diviner because it's so good. But if I'm making mana, I would not be as on Reanimate. I would not be as on Ayara. I would not be as on Archpriest of Shadows. I would be more willing to pay the big bucks to reanimate a lot of creatures. Because if I reanimate a lot of creatures, like if I get back Galta and Atali and Kokosho, which is very reasonable and possible for mana values that are almost what you're paying already, right? Like you're paying 5 right now to probably get one thing back, maybe get 2 back, maybe get a ton back if nobody ever has any blockers, but we're paying 5 mana now to get presumably a counter onto our commander and hope that he can get a guy back when he hits. Oh, he almost certainly will. Menace, Trample, Haste. You're getting one guy back versus the Behold the Sinister Sixes. There's another thing that's like Aberrant Return. Literally one more mana than what you're already paying to get your 3 best creatures back. And they come back with -1/-1 counters, but most of these are either so big or so valuable that you don't care. If you get Galta back as an 11/11, who gives a shit? If you get Colossal Gravereaver back as a 6/5, who gives a shit? So with that in mind, the things I think that are the things I would identify as detracting from your game plan are Emeritus of Woe, Gwenum Remorseless, Venom Deadly Devourer, Jouafete, Maximum Carnage. I realize this is probably a theme card, and so any of these where you're like, oh, but I love them so much, all of these are just recommendations. As you've already said, the deck does work part of the time. Wanting the deck to work more of the time is just going to be a sliding scale of how many of these recommendations do you take and how many do you not. Fuck evasion, you just kill people. So I would cut Filth too. I would cut Terrific Team Up. Spots Portal's funny as fuck. Keep that. I don't love Agent of the Shadow Thieves personally. I wouldn't say cut this for a different thing. I would say 1-for-1, we can probably do something better unless you are regularly swinging into people who can block you and kill you. If you are regularly swinging into a Galta player and you need the indestructible for when he gets blocked, okay. But if people are going to hit you with targeted removal, they're going to do it before you can. They're going to do it when you try to move to combat. And so I would rather have another red redirect effect. Whenever I'm in red, I love Boink Whipping. I love Boink Whipping because it's always relevant. Even if I'm not the problem, you got to worry about my stupid ass. Oh, what's up, Terrence? Did you think Lisa was doing too much and you tried to remove their commander? Joke's on you, dumbass. I remember you counterspelling my Cultivate last game. That removal is hitting your own commander. Stupid bitch. Suck on that. That's why I love this type of stuff. Rather than the, even though like the Undying Malice, the Not Dead After All, it's good. Anytime I can bolt bend a bitch. Ugh. So now protection as a category is definitely not wrong. I think Cardor as a card is probably not correct. If this is just a fun card that you really like, again, pet cards definitely allowed in bracket 3, but I think this is a distraction. He is not chunky enough that we feel super good sacrificing him. He doesn't help us get to chunkier stuff. He is a, oh, I'm going to goad people so they can't hit me, but you should be putting out massive fucking dragons. Like, right? Like the first time we trigger this commander, we should be like eating Atali to play Kokosho. We should be eating Galta to play Atali. And so I think this is a symptom of not having enough ramp and big threats to just be the threatening guy every single game. Your tutor section, pretty great. Hard to find anything wrong here. These are all phenomenally good cards. For your recursion, I would recommend swapping as much as you can to things that do more than 1-for-1. So Archpriest of Shadows, Ayara, Widow of the Realm. I mean, her transform is like, her transform's better and you can make the mana for it. So maybe keep Ayara, but Archpriest of Shadows, Junji's a tougher one because he's right on the bubble of like, he's just big enough that I'm not hating if I sacrifice him. Keep Junji. Metamorphosis Fanatic is probably one of the ones I would get rid of. I would definitely get rid of Rakdos Joins Up. I would definitely get rid of Reanimate. And I would probably keep Shieldred Whispering One because I'm a really greedy bitch. And then for the ramp, I would commit to a plan. The only one exception, because I have just seen this work in one of my own decks, so I know that you can be a greedy, greedy boy and get away with it. Instead of Sneak Attack, Monster Manual, Elvish Piper, Dark Ritual, I would get Ovia. This is just crazy sauce. I thought she was just another Elvish Piper. Crazy sauce to give all of your opponents can get trampled. It's better for politicking than you think. It's better for the things you cheat out than you think. This is the only one I would keep, or I would swap in. And then the other three, I would just turn into other ramp options. Like if you had a Gwenna Eyes of Gaia, you'd be really happy. If you had a Sky Shroud claim, it would avoid the games where you just never get to your commander's mana value in the first place. If you had, fuck, dude, even a Cultivate, right, would get you there. I'm not saying it's the best option, but I'm saying, like, because we have taken away the redundancy of these options, I can see why we're having games, not every game, but some, where we're getting to like 3 or 4 mana really, really quickly, and then nothing happens. I don't know what the fuck going on with Amulet of Vigor, though. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. All I know is I don't trust anybody who shows me that. You know how, like, in all medieval high fantasy, like, historical fiction stuff, they have some, like, this is the pennant of great King Arthur. If you carry this through the realm, doors will open for you. Bakers will feed you. Knights will protect you. This is the opposite. I see this. I don't like you. I don't like you. I'm throwing shit at you. I'm bringing back throwing tomatoes at people, okay? I'm putting you in the stocks, Brother Bear. I also just don't think we have a way to put a shitload of, like, I'm hard up to see what is the situation where this is like a hotness. So we have no lands here. We have 1 land here which can reanimate. Okay, so I think this is actually, even though you would never keep this hand, I think this is a perfect hand to show why we're getting stuck. We have Reanimate, which is going to tempt us to, like, oh, I discard Galta, I discard Gwenem for hand size, which is fun and cool and not at all what we're fucking trying to do. We're trying to fucking ramp to 6 fucking mana, brother, so we can Venom a bitch. Because this is a hand, like, I have a Abzan Reanimator deck. This is the type of opening hand I would be like, let it ride, baby. Let's try it. Let's see what we get up to. Okay, I'm feeling a little justified today. I've been watching a lot of Walton Goggins. But it's just totally not to plan for what your deck wants to do. And so that's why I would tunnel in really hard. And then I think you get very, very consistent about the things you love about the deck. And then when you're like, okay, it's super consistent, then you can undo some of these changes and get a little bit freakier. But I can see why it works. I can see what you love about it working. I do believe in it. I think we just got distracted by a couple shiny things. So if there's anybody in the comments who has any good ideas, let me hear them. Otherwise, I wish you the best, and I do hope this helps.